Okay, this is Outrun 2006 on the PS2, and I'm playing this on the PS2 because my original Xbox has got a bit of a dodgy laser, so it tends to hit the edges of the current section of track. There's like an invisible wall while it's loading. But anyway, that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I want to do is talk a bit about the Play Expo, which has just gone. And I was going to do a weekend waffle, but I ended up deciding not to do that. One, because, well, it's not the weekend, and secondly, as you probably noticed from my channel, I've been moving house recently, and my new games room isn't really set up, and it's a bit of a mess, and I didn't want to disgrace myself too badly. So I thought I'll do a ride and drive. It's not like it's not been done before, so I thought, well, I'll steal that concept. It seems to work. And I thought I'll play Outrun 2006 because I've played this, quite a few times in the past, so I thought it'd be nice to just have a relaxing drive and have a bit of a chat. And, well, I got to play this quite a bit at the Replay Expo on the arcade, so it seems like a good fit. But yeah, the Expo was at Manchester again, so this would have been the second time that I've been there. And previous years it was in Blackpool, and from what I've heard, it's a bit different at the Manchester Trafford Centre, or rather the place next to it, in that before at Blackpool it was a bit more kind of small scale, a bit more intimate, so it's just, well, that kind of sounds wrong, it's not that kind of expo, with kind of retro being on its own. But last year everything seemed to be, it was all in the same hall, but there was definitely specific like regions, almost like different communities. But this year it was all spread around, which was nice in a way, because you got to see a bit more, and everyone's part of one big happy family. But it did feel a little bit diluted in a way, and the talks were good. They were different than last year, and different than the event in Wolverhampton, the revival one. But we got to see the Bedrooms to Billions documentary in a bit more, of like a final state. But yeah, it was nice to just see different things. I mean, the machines are nearly all the same, but it's nice to meet people and meet new and old friends. So, as you've probably seen from some of the videos that have gone up in the last few days, I got to meet Lactobacillus Mark and Elise and Mr. Costado Irwin again. That was nice. It's nice to see old friends again, not forgetting Retro Gamer VX and the Pink Fluffy Monk. But yeah, and it's great to meet people for the first time. So I've been doing this just over a year, and you get to meet people and make friendships with people online, but meeting them for the first time is always nice. So I got to meet Darren Walsock for the first time, and when I met him, he had a mask on his face, like a wrestling mask, so all you got to see were his eyes, and I thought, yeah, that's Darren, I recognise him. So it was great to see Darren. And Cojones Deloro, who's one of those people that, well, sometimes it's kind of odd, if you see someone on camera, you're seeing them head on, and you meet them in real life, and people can be a little bit different, but Darren is exactly as he comes across on camera. A really great guy, and really, well, fellow Yorkshireman. So, what can I say? Who else was there? Shemuzo, I got to meet Shemuzo. Shock 16, I got to see you in the crowd a little bit. That kind of sounds wrong. But yeah, I didn't get to speak to you, which was a bit of a shame, because we had a bit of a grudge match at the Expo in Wolverhampton. Oh, I'm going to lose this. So we had a match on NBA Jam, so I think a rematch is in order there. Who else? Michael Reed, who I got to meet for the first time. Woodlin 37. Oh, not the camera there. Who else? Oh, and Danny from 16-Bit Brothers. I think I might have seen the other guys, but I didn't get to speak to them, so it was nice to speak to Danny about games rooms and moving house and that kind of thing. But yeah, it was a nice... yeah, I was going to say I'll try the original Outrun, but I'll keep going with this, just take a different route. But yeah, it was nice to meet people and, you know, get to, well, I suppose talk about things that are not games, which is kind of odd, seeing it's you know, a retro games, well, retro modern games event, and not talking about games. So everyone was at the bar, so I think on the second day we all ended up just congealing and in the kind of the food court area, which was ridiculously overpriced. But yeah, that was good. So I think when it comes around in May next year, I'm definitely up for going there again. I think, well, it was a bit convenient for me this year because I live near Manchester, so driving there wasn't too difficult. So Blackpool's about an hour away, so it's not too far. It's probably the same distance from Wolverhampton for the revival. Oh, yeah, this is really kind of... I've never played this while yabbering on before, and I'm finding it a lot harder to drive. I suppose it's like driving through real traffic. But yeah, so I think the other thing I'll kind of talk a bit about is, and I've kind of hinted at this, is my current channel, because I was thinking about this when I was at Replay, because I bought a few games and most of them were shoot 'em up. So I got Truxton and what was it, Subterranea on the Mega Drive, which is kind of a shooter. It was the last video I did a couple of days ago. And the other ones were Darius Plus on the PC Engine and Dragon Saber. And it's been kind of odd because I moved about a month ago, but I've not really had that much of a kind of a compulsion to make gameplay videos, and I think it's because I've been doing these gameplays for about 3 months now, on and off, and I'm finding that, well, shoot 'em ups require a lot of concentration, and they're all very similar, and I'm finding it a little bit hard to do them. So it's, well, I won't say there's a bit of kind of trepidation doing it, but I think what I want to do is just add a bit of variety, because I'm sure anyone who's not a shoot 'em up fan is getting sick of them by now. So what I'll do is I want to go through all the shoot 'em ups, but I think what I'll do instead is maybe just do one a week, as I hinted in the previous video, and just do it that way, because it means then I can, you know, spread them out and keep a bit of variety on the channel. And it means if there's a game that I think, oh, you know, I fancy doing a gameplay and I've got something to say about it, then I can just do it without adding it to the back of the queue, which is not one I, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to burn myself out, because it's all about having fun. So yeah, I think I'll do that. There's a whole bunch of games that I've picked up or read a bit more about, and it'd be nice just to have a bit of a chat over them. But yeah, so I think with the channel, I want to get back to doing gameplays. Probably won't do a weekend waffle for a little bit. It's just a case of getting the games room set up and getting everything set up and that. And what I'm in two minds about this, because I've never really been one for using a CRT for retro machines, and it's not because I thought it was a bad idea. It was more that I hadn't really tried it, and I've watched videos by, you know, people like Darren Walsock, who are very keen on using CRTs and use them to make videos. And I found an old CRT in the garage that had, you know, escaped the cull, and I thought, well, I'll just give it a try, and I'm really impressed by the quality of the visuals. So I tried this on a CRT a few hours ago, and it looks better than it does on the LCD. But I'm in two minds about whether to actually start filming the CRT, because it's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's still got that little bit of a flicker, and it might give people headaches. So yeah, I'll probably keep to the LCD for the moment until I've got a way of getting rid of the flicker, which will probably never happen. But yeah, So the other thing that comes to mind, I'm just thinking with playing PS2 games, is really a response to a question that came out. Am I going to make this? Magic second? No! So I think the question is that the PS2, is it retro? And I think this is a good question because, well, I thought about this a while ago, and it's kind of odd to view the PS2 because in a way it's been around for a while. It's, you know, it's 13 years old, give or take. And well, the Mega Drive was retro, I'd say in 2000, and it had been around 10 years and discontinued for only, you know, 3. And I think with the PlayStation 2 it was discontinued a few years ago, so it's kind of the same as the Mega Drive was in around the year 2000. So I'd say from, you know, from dates and times it is. But I think the difference is with the... Oh, I meant to go left. There you go. With the PS2, and you know, if you compare it to the Mega Drive was, you know, a 2D machine. And it was easy in the era of when the PlayStation 2 came out to look at the Mega Drive and go, yeah, that looks retro. And you know, older machines like the Amiga as well, they look retro, but we're still in this 3D kind of era, and I don't think we're ever going to move away from that. So on one hand, could you say, will the PS2 ever look retro? So you could say, well, you know, the games that are coming out on the PS4 are similar to what came out on the PS2 and the PS1. So they're not fundamentally different, but they do look a lot older, and I think they've got a different feel to them. So in short, yeah, I'd say that the PS2 is. I think if you count the Dreamcast as retro, then you've got to count the PS2. I mean, this game in particular. Is it a retro game? Well, yeah, it was a retro... Oh no, I suppose it wasn't, was it? The arcades were kind of a mixture of new and old, but if we say it was part of the retro arcade machines, then yeah, probably. You probably could count this. I mean, if you take the draw distance away, this wouldn't look out of place on a Dreamcast, so yeah, in my book I would say the PlayStation 2 is just about retro. Probably when the PlayStation 3 came out, no, you couldn't count it as retro, but I think we're now at the point where, yeah, I wouldn't say it would be wrong to consider it retro, but you know, each to their own. I suppose it depends on when you got the machine as well. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there. So with the channel, probably what I'm going to do is spend a bit more time looking at... Whoa, that was fast. Looking at different kind of games, but what I want to focus on a bit more is doing a bit more... I suppose this is the obvious plug. Do a bit more work on my sprite engine. So I've been working on trying to get a few effects working and punishing the poor old Dreamcast by doing like a light bloom effect and things like depth of field, and just see how much it, you know, the Dreamcast panics with doing those kind of effects. So what I want to do is work it into the sprite engine and you know, maybe have a game a bit like Soul Star, that kind of game. So you can cheat because it's in space, so you don't need that many sprites or billboards as they are, the polygons, but they look like sprites. And just see if I can get away with a few nice little effects. So if you've got, you know, a bright sun in the background, have a bit of light bloom, that kind of thing, and depth of field. But I think this is going to take me quite a long time to do it. You know, it's not like I'm doing it every day, it's just a few hours here and there, but it's quite fun to do. So what I'll do is just mix them in, you know, bits and pieces with the gameplay videos. Yeah, so I think I'll leave it there. I've been playing a few retro games, but not that many recently, so I'm quite keen to get back into this. So right, and that's no excuse to keep playing, so I'll definitely leave it there. So thanks for watching, and you know, to everyone that I met at replay. That was brilliant, and if I've forgotten to mention you, I'm sorry. So thanks for watching.